Oppai Hunters.
Isekai Cheat Magician is about Tai Chi and Rin getting summoned to another world and are completely out of their element. Or are they? They soon discover that they are extremely powerful mages and sorcerers. As soon as Tai Chi and Rin get the hang of their powers, they're thrust into the middle of a civil war. Tai Chi discovers what is truly important to him while he uses his cheats.
Story.
Mom couldn't make it. She's sick, busy with college stuff, so it's just gonna be me and Jason.
So the story for this series is very simplistic. It's a basic plot of the protagonist being brought into another world with super overpowered abilities, and he has to fight a war in order to bring peace to a nation. And there isn't really much outside of the basic structure. The constant trend of them just throwing in mini stories that really don't make that much of a difference just makes this story even more messy. The characters never seem to be any real danger when they're in a fight because of plot armor and pulling abilities out of nowhere. And the one character that died in the show was like a poor attempt at adding shock or drama to the series. But my issue with that event is we only knew that character for 2 episodes and she had like what, 10 minutes of screen time?
Yeah.
So it did absolutely nothing for me. The dialogue doesn't flow well or make sense, especially in the dub, and the action is literally laughable. There are just so many things that just did not go right with the series.
Story of Isekai Cheat Magician started off simple enough. Tai Chi and Rin just got isekai'd into the new world and started learning their powers, and then the anime decided to pick up a main plot in the last couple episodes with the Civil War. But before that, Tai Chi and Rin are just wandering around doing random things. And it really feels like the story wasn't planned out in the slightest. Like, they were just writing things as they went along. And then the series has the audacity of thinking there's going to be a season 2.
Characters.
To me, the characters aren't anything special in this anime. They barely get any development, even though Tai Chi, Rin, and Mueller are shown throughout the whole series. I can't really give them any distinct personality features except Tai Chi cares about Rin and vice versa. The Tai Chi likes to eat. Mueller is just there to be Yuri bait with Rin. That's the development.
Yeah, I agree. The characters are very bland. After watching the entire series, I couldn't give a description of these characters. It's just isekai protag, love interest, elf girl that's here, the teacher who's really doesn't have anything to do with the series. And even the connection between the characters felt hollow to me. Like Tai Chi and Rin's friendship and / relationship really, it didn't do much for me. And even that side part with Mueller and Rin, it only got brought up once that Mueller was interested in Rin, and then it got swiftly blindsided by a piece of plot that didn't matter. Then there were characters being added every other episode, and then they swiftly disappear. They either die or just fade into nothingness, never to be brought up again. And it's so important that a series does characters right, because I personally feel that a bad story can be carried heavily if they have good characters, but as you've heard in these past 2 sections, they don't have good characters or story. It's just a mess.
Entertainment value.
So I actually found this series fairly entertaining in some parts, but for all the wrong reasons. Nothing that they intentionally wrote or did throughout the series made me laugh, but how poor the writing, the dubbing, and the animation, that had me in tears at some points. Outside of all that and this being an ironic viewing, it's just plain boring. And I have to go back to last review where we talked about Kill la Kill, and I had the complaints about Kill la Kill's action not being as good as I would want it, but I'll take the Dragon Ball Z style flurry of attacks over one-hit KOs and cutting away from the fights as soon as a hit is about to land.
Yeah, I have to go off what Jason said. This anime was incredibly boring. Going off of the fight scenes, they really love to tell you but not show you, which got extremely annoying. And then when they did show you fight scenes, they were pure garbage. none of the fight scenes were any good. Taichi and Rin's powers also feel inconsistent at times. Taichi always needs to be told that he's the one who can save everyone to actually power up. And this anime hypes them up as both powerful people, but then likes to pretend that Rin isn't sometimes. Some of the voice acting in the sub is good, but it doesn't save the anime in the slightest. And the dub just sounds like an abridged parody at best.
This girl.
If I had to pick a best girl, I guess I have to go with Rin. She's the most developed out of any of the girls, but that's really not saying much. I really liked her chemistry with Mueller, and that's probably the brightest part of Rin. But, of course, I was hoping for something more between them. Of course, I'm here to suffer. Rin definitely has the nicest sounding voice in the anime. I had switched to Anna for a good 2 episodes, but, spoilers.
So, I really don't have much to go off of besides appearance, because as we've said, the characters are just pieces of cardboard. There's nothing really to go off of in order to form a waifu, so I don't have a definitive answer for this series. Since I have to pick one, I think I would say Mueller, because she's cool, I guess, and I like her appearance better than Rin as the series went on. And honorable mentions would also go to Anna, who I don't care about the spoilers. She dies. You shouldn't watch the series anyway. It doesn't matter. And then the girl with the purple hair and red eyes from the castle, but I don't know her name. I never caught it, and I don't care to look it up.
Final score.
So for final score, I gave it a 2. It's just ripe, man. There's very little redeeming about this series, and even as an ironic viewing, it's not really worth it. The characters, the story, the writing, it's all poorly done. Like, I don't like shitting on a series this much. I like to try and have something positive, but it's I would be here all day trying to butter this anime up. I personally can't sink it all the way to a 1 though, because as I've mentioned, this series had me crying laughing, especially on episode 9, and it never really got me to the point where I was like slamming my head into the desk trying to get through it. And I would even say that I didn't have as negative of feelings about it as Valkyrie Drive, but this is not much better than that.
I'll just mention Monica also gave this anime a 2, and her only notes for this was, this anime is bad. So, take Monica's word for it. And then I, of course, also gave this anime a 2 out of 10. It's not the worst anime ever, but damn, it's awful. There's no redeeming qualities about this anime. I can't even give a single reason to watch it except to laugh your ass off at how bad it is. I do give it a point for being funny bad and not boring bad. If it was boring bad, it would be a 1. But the dub had us all crying. So I gave it a point for that. And the voice acting in the sub is decent, so I have to give credit for that. But the animation and non-existent fight scenes bring it down so much, and I heavily suggest skipping this one.
So that brings our final score to a unanimous 2 out of 10. If you haven't gleamed it already, skip this anime. It's not worth the watch. I highly suggest you find anything better to do. Like, go start reading One Piece. That's an amazing series, and way more worth your time than this one. And that wraps up our review for Isekai Cheat Magician. Let us know what you thought of this review and the series in the comment section below. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Oppai Hunters content.